I want to have a really honest conversation with you all. Because a few months ago, I found myself struggling in a way that completely caught me off guard. So, for the last 2 years, me and my team of specialized therapists have been designing our own therapy model to effectively treat chronic pain and symptoms. In addition, we've been developing an app and group coaching program that we hope to launch this fall. Now, this is really exciting work for me. I deeply care about helping people recover from chronic pain and chronic symptoms. But along the way, I lost sight of something important. Back in December, I hit a wall, and I felt awful the whole month. I was exhausted, emotionally flat, and completely disconnected from the world. See, I had just been pushing too hard for too long, with excessive work, unrealistic deadlines, and this constant sense of urgency and pressure. And at the time, I even started to experience headaches, which is incredibly rare for me. So I had to ask myself the question, why do I feel this way when I'm doing the work that I genuinely love? The answer was, I stopped showing up for myself. I stopped prioritizing rest. I stopped doing somatic practices to connect with my nervous system and emotions. And I stopped taking time to make meaningful connections with the people I care about. And my most important insight was, instead of working from a place of purpose, I was working from a place of fear and dysregulation. I shifted away from my focus being on creating something meaningful. And instead, I was spending all my time worrying about expectations, deadlines, and if the project was going to work out. Essentially, I drifted away from myself. The truth is, this is not a new pattern for me. Over the course of my life, different versions of the same story play out over and over and over again. I start to set goals. I start to take care of other people's needs. I want to help people and support people. I get hyper-focused on a task. And little by little, I just stop taking care of myself. Maybe you relate to that. Maybe you've gotten so focused on managing your symptoms, taking care of other people's needs, meeting expectations, or just surviving the day that you stop showing up for yourself. But because this is what you've always done, you just keep pushing forward. And over time, what happens is you become disconnected from your nervous system, your emotions, and yourself. And on the outside, you might still be functioning. You go to work or school. You take care of your family. You do your hobbies. But on the inside, you feel off. You feel like you're surviving. And you feel like you're not really living. What I've realized is healing begins with one important shift: responsibility. Now, I want to be clear, not blame, but responsibility. These two things are very different. You are not to blame for your trauma, and you're not to blame for your chronic symptoms or nervous system dysregulation. But you are responsible for deciding whether you're going to start showing up for yourself. I know that's difficult to hear because responsibility can feel heavy. It means that no one is coming to save you and the healing is in your hands. But I also think responsibility can feel really empowering because it means you have the ability to start making changes and heal your chronic symptoms and nervous system dysregulation. When I came out of that hard period in December, I made a commitment to myself. Starting in January, each week I was going to add in one small thing to improve my mental or physical health. Now, I want to be clear. I didn't add in 10 things at once. I didn't make a whole life overhaul take place. I just started to add one small thing in each week. And so I started to work away at this. Slowly but surely, I started to exercise more. I began eating basically a whole foods diet. I started to do 30 minutes of somatic work every single day. I spent time each week connecting with my partner, my children, or my friends, and I made sure I got outside and did long walks in the sun with my dog Darla. I also worked hard to reconnect with the deeper purpose behind my work, and I stopped working from a place of fear, pressure, and urgency. And little by little, I started to feel like myself again. Now, you might be listening to this and feel really overwhelmed. You're like, there's no way I can make all these changes. Well, I want to be clear, this transformation did not happen overnight. I built these habits slowly. So week by week, I just made one small change. Some weeks felt really easy, and some weeks felt incredibly difficult. But all my actions stemmed from my commitment that I was going to start showing up for myself. And I want to be clear about this. This work of changing your life and reconnecting with your nervous system, it's not always glamorous. As I was working on making healthier habits, there were weeks I just did not want to do it. There were weeks I was trying to rationalize, I don't need to change anything, I'll be okay. And there were weeks where it felt really scary to make some of these changes. And I want you all to know that that's very normal. But showing up for yourself means choosing yourself even when you do not want to. It means putting in the healthy actions even when you are not inspired. It means starting to treat yourself like someone who matters. And it means recognizing that your needs deserve attention. I think this is especially important if you're trying to heal your chronic pain, chronic symptoms, nervous system dysregulation, or trauma. Because what I see people do is they get so desperate and so intense with the healing that they're constantly doing strategies or they're searching to find the perfect strategy out there. And all that pressure and intensity is not going to help you heal. Healing begins by making the commitment to show up for yourself and care for yourself. Healing is not about reducing symptoms. It is about living in a way that creates a deep sense of safety in your nervous system. It's about connecting to your nervous system, caring for your nervous system, listening to it, and starting to do habits that are going to improve your well-being. Essentially, healing begins long before your symptoms start to reduce. So I want to leave you with a question. If you were fully committed to your well-being, what is one thing you could do this week to better show up for yourself? Remember, healing begins when you decide to show up for yourself and do one small action. I wish you all the best in your healing.